And it feels like.
Hey, looking at you, kid.
And it feels like I just wanna be next to you, next to you. Fun fact, we wrote a whole song called Casablanca, and I still really haven't seen the movie front to back. I think I've lied about it a couple times on social media.
I still think that no one understands that we wrote a song about Casablanca.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing, huh? We put it out and people were like they were like, wait, what?
Nothing.
This is a great song. I know it sounds a little weird to say that about our own music, but this is like the fly-by harmony.
You know what's surprising to us, and we see it more in our Discord. Shout out to our Discord. We see it more there, where like we ask about what are your top 3 favorite songs, what's your favorite song, and Casablanca seems to sneak its way onto every one of their top 3s, whether it's the #1 spot or just somewhere there. And to us, like, there's 11 songs on this project, 2 that you guys haven't heard yet before this conversation we had. But Casablanca to us was like such a big feel-good song, but pretty down the middle in terms of like what we've done on this album. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's just a testament to, you know, what people like to hear, something that's like familiar and, you know, bland and boring and terrible.
No, I mean, I think it is a good point that some songs were striving to do something different, and it's cool that we were able to do this song and give the people what they want.
Yeah.
And the way we made it unique in a way was we don't say the word Casablanca in the song, I mean, I remember that was all you know, while we were writing the song, we wrote the whole chorus and we were like, but there's not a title.
There's nothing to it.
Which I will say is a common thing that happens. You know, like Google Dolls, they were just talking about Iris, and they don't say Iris at all in that song.
Yeah.
That was a way much of an afterthought in the same way. Mm-hmm. And I remember writing that post-chorus section where, you know, Here's Looking at You kind of came up. And it was awesome. It felt like we were going for something that was something we haven't done before. And that was another one that I remember recording the vocal being like, oh, this is our sweet spot. Like the harmonies that come in after the lead, feels like, like vocal producing that was fun, easy, breezy, cover girl, you know.
And you speak of too, like
you speak of,
shout out to Connor from Love on the Spectrum. Oh. Damn the expense. I love that dude. He's the best.
I love him.
You speak of like the vocal production, like, and to be hit with that right off the bat. Another thing that kind of fell into our laps. We don't do it a lot, but we like throwing chorus at the beginning of songs. Superfine being an example on this record. I think technically Heart Race does have that filtered version, but the way we set up the track list, and maybe an Easter egg to Live 2, the end of Loveland, which comes before Casablanca, has this whole, I feel it now, I feel it now, and then it has like this vocal chop up, I feel it now, I feel it, blah, 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 and then it cuts, and then all of a sudden you get hit in the face with, and it feels like, that's like, to me, one of those, I said it before, happy coincidence moments where it's like, you can't really write that shit, you know what I mean? It just happens that way sometimes, and that to me is like a really, hopefully it translates like that to people and they don't have to watch this video to appreciate it, but that's to me one of the moments when you listen to these songs, like that you have one of those like almost goosebump moments where it's like.
Yeah, I remember when you brought it up to me, because we were, 2 weeks ago, talking about the order of songs, and you were like, man, check this out. And when moments like that happen, you're like, wow, that's something that probably no one will notice, and the people that and the people that do will appreciate it. But at the end of the day, if you and I are excited about that, you know, for us to be excited about this project the way we are, and how many albums are we in, like this is a beautiful thing. And this song we've never performed live yet, and I know this is going to be one of my favorites.
This was built for the live.
Just these hits setting. And like it really.
Even the end,
so
like.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't know it was about the movie Casablanca at the end, we literally have the quote and the actual sample from the movie of him saying the line. And that was a whole nother thing we can get into quickly that's really funny. We're such sticklers for, and shout out to, what was it, Alessandro, that, you know, we did Waking Up with back in the day, and What If I Wasn't Done? No, I Need You More Than You Want Me, we did with him as well.
Oh,
he taught us about prosody, right?
With him? Yeah.
Which is a very like Max Martin concept of like, here I are, Ariana Grande necessarily like the way you say stuff in a pop sense does make a huge difference. Like this was one of those examples where we got to that part of writing that, and what was it? Here's looking at you, kid, or here's looking at you, kid.
Yeah, and we ended up going. We added the two for the sort of consonant, even though it wasn't.
Ba ba da ba da ba 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 da. It's very subtle, but we went back and forth on it because it's obviously such an important part of the song, being that's like the derivative of why we called it that. But at the end of the day, we're like, you know what? We're probably the only ones that are ever going to really talk about it. Here we are talking about it.
Yeah.
And we'll get it from the clip at the end. Like, and then I feel like that justified us like leaving it that way.
Yeah, but again, just another example of doing something, putting it out into the world, not getting this crazy blowback, and then being like, oh, we were able to stretch ourselves and do that. Now for the next album, we won't be afraid of those things. And I think each of these songs have those moments where we kind of just went for something. And I think you were a big advocate for pushing for that. And I was like, you know, I give up.
Trust the process.
Yeah. And
I appreciate that.
No, and I think I mean, it turned out great. And to me, maybe one of the most fun songs on the album.
I agree. Yeah. And the end just feels like a curtain close, hit the confetti cannons. We're not, the expense for a kinetic, what is it? Confetti cannon?
Kinetic cannon.
My wires got crossed.
Can we get another Red Bull?
We're not having that on tour, so don't expect that.
Yeah,
but
no confetti.
We'll do it now. Ready? 1, 2, 3, AI.
Casablanca.
It's just gonna be no confetti. I know it.
I'll drive the coast down to Loveland, and I'll take a dip in the sky.
What to say, huh?
So I remember listening to a podcast where the guy said I'm from Loveland, Oregon, I believe, and I literally went back in the podcast and thought to myself, wow, the way he said that wasn't Loveland. He said Loveland.
Which is how my mom still says it, by the way.
Loveland, and I thought that was so cool. And I remember bringing in that idea, and obviously we fleshed it out together. But to me, the first thought was like, what does the word Loveland mean to us? Because there's so many possibilities that we could build a really cool narrative around it.
What is it called? What is the term, chat, about when choosing when you buy a car, right, and then you see it everywhere? Adam, do you know what that word is? So
it's like...
No.
Yeah, but like the idea of like you see...
When you see the word Loveland, then all of a sudden it starts popping up everywhere.
It was popping up everywhere, right? I know it popped up for me once, did it?
There's a word for that. You guys will put it in the comments. Hopefully we don't look that stupid right now, but there's a football player on the Ohio State Buckeyes that also has the name Loveland, and I remember like you brought that concept in.
Oh, that's what it was, Loveland, Ohio. Continue, yeah.
Ohio, yeah, which is ironic because I think it was Ohio, but I don't know. There's a player in college, and I remember watching a game and seeing that. I was like, that's so weird. Like Justin just brought that up, and they said his name that way too.
And dude, after we wrote it, I was on the anniversary trip in Morro Bay the week after, and the guy said, the barista at the coffee shop, he said, where are you from? I said, New York. He said, yeah, I'm from Loveland, Colorado.
So
and
weird.
I was like, I've never heard of that Loveland too. And yeah, I love this song. I think, no pun intended. And we had a wedding for one of our best friends, Alec. And we had flown back from a festival in Korea. And to go to his wedding, we had to drive on the PCH. And I remember, I guess around the time the idea of Loveland came, I forget if I came in with the whole line or it was something I drive the coast up or down to Loveland. I take a dip in the sky.
From what I remember, you had it pretty fleshed out.
I think
like melodically it wasn't.
But it was the first two lines.
That was pretty fleshed out. And then, we kind of massaged the end with the mom lyric and then I Feel Alive just one more time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of those things too where I was in the zone doing my thing and you had written this portion of it and I turned around, I was like, yeah, that's sick. Melody just kind of spit out. But that one came together, I feel like that song in general came together pretty effortlessly. Like I remember even when the verse part came, hitting the prophet, and that melody just kind of spit out too. And I feel like we're big on like when we do these verses and that's like kind of where the narrative comes in, but even the chorus had a very narrative feel to it. Like specific, it wasn't like a hooky thing, right? It was more like these little details and almost imagination land-esque, right? Like this place that isn't really real, but like you go to. And like to the same theme of like a lot of this album, we wanted to fight the romantic portion of how we write. this one's no exception, right? Like this was about, you know, finding a place to escape, a very escapism song, whether it be a real place or whether it be something that, you know, you close your eyes and you go to. And I think that was really cool to see that one unfold the way it did.
Yeah, and we sort of, there was a few lyrics in that song that like we found their voice in, like I think for you and I. And I really did feel this. It felt weird because, you know, it's not a secret to our fans, but some songs we write, we're not like, we don't bleed for, you know, like, oh, this is a great song, we both relate to it, it's cool. But the line, I call my mom because she's still here, is really interesting because we don't live near our parents.
Yeah.
And every studio break, not to blow your spot up, but every evening when we go on our little studio walk away from each other, you call your mom. And on my drive into the studio, I call my mom. And that is a very big part of our life. And that's how we were able, and I do remember when I realized it was gonna work in the song, I was like, whoa, it's not every flyby song that we say online that means a lot to us. And like, oh no, I'm gonna get emotional, but like,
do it.
Like years and years from now, that line may mean something a little bit different, you know? Like many years from now when our parents aren't here, 100 years from now. It's just gonna mean something a little bit different. And I think that's really cool. And what was interesting was a lot of fans, when we released that, they said stuff like, you know, my mom isn't here, my dad isn't here, but this song's so special. And it's just a reminder like, oh shit, we're doing some cool stuff.
And it feels like it's special too. Like sonically, I feel like melodically, everything about this song just kind of takes you someplace. And I think that was the goal, and I think we nailed it. I even think about too, funny enough, a quick little insert. I found a card for Mother's Day, because we're shooting this around Mother's Day. I found a card for Mother's Day, and on the front it says, thanks
Loveland?
for always... No, imagine. It says, thanks for always picking up my call, which I thought was cool. I almost found some like generic like heart and flowers, and I was like, no, I found that. I was like, that's perfect.
That's awesome.
But I was gonna say a lyric that always stands out to me, because this song is really beautiful lyrically, I feel like in a lot of different ways, but even as simple as after all I put me through, I feel like that could go by and someone would be like, oh, that was a cool lyric. But like that, I feel like that lyric is really saying something important, because you would normally like, after all I put you through, like you wanna make sure you're taking care of someone else, but like that's an internal thing. And the song is an internal thing, right? Like after all the shit that I've gone through, after all that I've, you know, overanalyzed, stressed out about for whatever particular reason, like there's gotta be something, right? There's got to be a place I can go to get rid of this stress, whatever this. And we don't, historically in our music, we don't touch those topics at all. And it's like not an easy thing to write and make sound cool and like be like and we somehow, hopefully you guys aren't at home thinking, that song's cheesy as hell. Yeah. I cannot feel any emotions when listening to it, but that was the goal.
But it is funny because I'd say, and maybe you won't agree, but I'd say 85% of our days together is farting and making funny jokes. Right? Like we're constantly just like,
it smells like shit in here right now.
But we're constantly like goofing off, and it's just funny to think that we were like, we goof off and then we write that song, just you and I. You know, like that. I was really shocked, and you know, we could talk on and on about it, but I think just even talking about the visual component for a second, but that was a pocket in making this album where we were like, no, we want to direct this one. And it was really cool. We had a vision in typical you and I fashion. We sort of storyboarded and did these demo videos we sent to our DP, Russell. And we brought in a cast of actors from all different backgrounds, and funny enough, a couple fans of ours that we got to feature in a video, which we never did before.
We got Rafe in a video.
We got Rafe in a video.
Our drummer that we toured with.
Yeah, and
first time.
It became this like really cool one-take video of people going to their own Loveland and looking out, and it is a really interesting video. And I remember when you were editing it, because a lot of people don't know, we direct and Salivo
I almost went bald doing that edit. It was not easy to do that.
Yeah.
From a technical standpoint, but we'll skip past that.
And I just remember being like, it's so cool. We wrote the song, now we have a video, and we brought all this to life, and now it gets to live out there. And it was a really fun shoot. Not every shoot is fun the day of. I feel like a lot of the time we're in a pressure cooker. And that one felt like we had a vision, and it came to life, and we got to go home. And then when you pulled it up to edit, that was when the nightmare began. Yeah,
we worked through it though, got it done. Fun fact too, that grass from the video still lives in my backyard. We were gonna throw it away, and we thought, why not make some use out of it? So we still have it.
Funner fact, driving to the video, I had the grass sticking out about this much from my window.
Yeah, you called me like, Slave, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm like, what do you mean? And then you sent a picture and I was like, oh.
I could not get it in my car for the life of me, so it ended up just being on the highway. Like, yeah, don't do that at home, kids. Loveland.
Taking my heart on the road. There's no other cars on the street. She said, leave it on dry.
I think the coolest thing about this song, and everyone at home is gonna be like, this is not that exciting, but we were just talking about TikTok off camera, and the drums from this song, I'm not kidding you, are solely TikTok samples.
Are we gonna get sued, or are you allowed to use them?
No, wait a second. I don't think so.
Run it back.
No, so something I like doing is, so the biggest problem I had with the song was the drums. That was like one of my biggest hurdles. The guitars, everything else, that made so much sense to me, but I couldn't dial in like how far I wanted to take it with the drums, or like felt like it was like wanting to do something that wasn't making sense. And then I came across, there's like these videos of drummers sometimes that'll like sample snares and like different eras of snares, and they had sampled this whole kit basically, and I was like, wow, this could kind of work. And I brought, because you could save the video, blah, 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 the whole process. I took it into Pro Tools, sampled everything, and then replaced all the drums I had in there currently, and ended up using those. And it sounded great. It sounds the way it sounds, yeah.
Thanks, TikTok.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I just remember writing that with Michael Cameron, and
shout out.
No offense to that session, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And it wasn't one of those songs that was like so profound. And then you had sent me, I think, a close to end version that I took on a walk with headphones, and I remember texting you being like, this sounds like you're having fun with the production. Like you just sat down and said, let me just do all the cool shit that I dreamed about doing and just put it at the song. The fills going into the second verse, there's like, you talk about drums, like just the production of the song felt like, if you're a fan of Flyby, like, oh, these guys are really having fun here. And conceptually, I mean, you and I have known each other for a long time, and before we were married, we were going on double dates and sharing
Little rascals.
We were little rascals.
Yeah.
It just cuts the little rascals on the screen. And we had some really cool adventures, and this song reminds me of the feeling of, you know, being called up and kind of being a booty call for someone. And, you know, you and I, even though we did have those casual relationships, we always did get caught up in emotions. And I think this song is a really cool, I guess, picture of even the second verse. You know, we talk a lot about like navigating this digital landscape of, you know, Tinder, Hinge, and all these like crazy. Yeah, and I mean, we have a lot of friends that are still single, and navigating that is a puzzle. And I think this song makes it like sexy and confusing. Yeah. It's
funny too, because like your perspective on that, we've almost like done a little bit of a role reversal, because I feel like I almost romanticize it more in like a sweeter way, because I relate to it pretty like word for word in the respect of like taking my heart on the road, there's no other cars on the street. To me, I personify that like when I first met Meg. And I guess that was a dating phase, so it has some kind of a dating element to it, but like the idea of how hard we worked and how hard we still work too, like we would be in the studio till, I don't know, 1, 2 a.m. and I would get done, and all weekend I would want to spend the weekend with her. So I'd take the car out and I'd take the highway all the way to Manhattan from Staten Island, and like there would be no one else out because it was like really fucking late. And I'd show up, park the car, and it would take, for anyone that knows Manhattan parking, it took me like an hour even at, you know, the time it was to find parking. And I don't know, when I hear that song, especially that lyric in the chorus, it reminds me of like that part of my life specifically. And it's so cool because I feel like a lot of people in their younger dating ages can relate to it in a lot of those ways. Like even like not feeling sufficient enough for someone to even like want you to come see them. You're like, everyone has a little bit of that imposter syndrome when they're dating. As far as like 100%. Dating out of their league kind of thing. It's like, shit, all right, well, you want me to come hang? Let's do it. Yeah, and I love that we start the song off with that. It feels like it is like a digital age romance story, and no matter how casual you perceive it or it becoming something, there's just something, and also like very 90s nostalgic of like leaving the key outside of the door. Yeah. And it feels very like cinematic movie in that way. I remember
when we spoke about doing the lyric video. I think we were in between filming a couple of other videos and working on the album, and we hit up our boy Miles again and said, you know, this is gonna be a really simple video. We're gonna get a nice car. We're gonna drive around and throw some lyrics on it. And this could kind of just be like more of a visualizer-esque idea. We had a couple of shots that we brought up to Miles, and I remember I went on a trip to Washington to see some friends of ours, and I was like complaining to my friend, being like, oh man, this video is taking forever to edit. I don't know what he's doing, like we missed our deadline. And then he sent it to us.
We were like, yo, what is this?
We were like, all right, you know, take another week.
Let him cook.
Let him cook. And we were blown away by the video, and it weirdly turned into one of my favorite videos of the album. And what was so cool about it was we had a camera, we had a car, and the three of us just shot shit throughout the night. Really, that was the concept, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he turned it into like a whole universe. Like we were shooting it in downtown LA. In his mind, we weren't. He took it to another place, and I respect him for pushing it that way, and then appreciate it too. I mean, it obviously made the visual like very interesting to watch, which is cool.
I think also a lot of people probably don't know, but for all of our videos, you and I have conversations of what are we gonna wear, and like that is a whole other aspect of our videos that, you know, we take pride in. And I remember we both wore white dress shirts with suspenders, right?
Yeah.
That was the idea. And I remember like 2 nights in the studio while you were working on production, I was pulling all these Pinterest boards of like who are these 2 guys that are singing this song and what do they look like? And when I watched that video, I'm like, oh, that is it. Like, it's like, it feels a little dressy, but also we're a little disheveled. And we just, who knows, we just left a party or we left a wedding and we just got a text on our phone to go meet this person.
The rain that night too was like a whole aspect that, you know, we live in Los Angeles. When does it ever rain? All the stereotypes, and it perfectly worked out. Like it rained and it stopped. So like we had the rain beads on the windows, how, you know, cinematic as that was not intentional, that just happened. And we even got like last second, we got the smoke cans.
Yeah.
So like all those shots that look super like cool in the car that like are smoky and almost like condensation-esque, you know what I mean? I mean, those were all like last minute things we threw at it. And
we threw a lot of things at it, and they all pretty much, I mean, even the last shot of the night in the residential area. And yeah, I mean, these videos, I hope people watch that and know that and feel inspired to just go for it. Because we really just went for that one, and look how it turned out.
Yeah, and push your deadlines for your editor.
But not too much.
But not too much.